Okay, sorry, just now there was a connection problem and then my computer just shut off and then I have to restart again. Okay, so we go through our revision today. Let me just find out this. Mhm. Okay, we go through sampling again. Alright, so as one of the topic, one question is on sampling. So you must know what is sampling. Alright. So alright, sampling basically, okay, you must know what is sampling, okay? Alright, so you must know what is sampling. Is actually we select part of the populations, okay? Instead of the whole population, we cannot do 100% testing, okay? So we do sampling, okay? So it's basically a technique to reduce the amount of data by concentrating on the subgroup rather than the whole possible entire population. So there are so many sampling methods, okay? So the reasons for sampling is so that, right, you can generalize your results, okay, to the population. So you must know what is this population or this definition. All right, the sampling frame, a complete list of all the cases from which a samples will be drawn. All right, a samples is a subset of the population. All right, it comprises some members selected from it. All right, so this sampling techniques you select a sufficient amount of samples element from the population, okay, to understand the property, and then you generalize such property to the whole population. So you can see, right, we have two types of sampling techniques, probability and non-probability sampling. I'm not sure whether open book, right, they will ask you direct questions like what is probability sampling, what is non-probability sampling, but you must know all this to write, okay? Okay, so for sampling, right, we have to identify the sampling frame, all right? And then you have to determine your sample size. And then which sampling methods do you want to use under probability sampling, all right? So all these samplings methods you must know. Is that clear? And then choice of sampling, choice of sampling size okay. So you must identify your research objective and then what is the suitable size, okay. And then for sampling frame, use existing database. You generalize from the samples, and then you also make sure it's valid and reliable, avoidance of bias, okay. So choice of this sample size is influenced by the confidence needed in the data. So what are the confidence level that you want to set? 99, 95, or 90, all right? And margins of error that can be tolerated. It is the confidence interval, right? It's a plus or minus figure. usually reported in the newspaper or television opinions polls, okay? And then what are the analysis that you have to do? And then size of sample population and distribution. So is it different types of this sampling methods? The calculation of sample size methods, it depends on whether there is this available of this population or not. If the population is not available, right, you cannot use certain methods to calculate the sample size. All right. So it also depends on the level of precision. Okay. So how close your estimate is to be the true population characteristics, like this, margin of errors, okay, that you can tolerate. Variability in data, the smaller the diversions or variability, all right, the greater the probability that the samples mean will be closer to the population mean. So what it means is that your samples must be similar, all right? The greater the similarity, all right, the greater the sample mean will be closer to the population mean. That means the smaller the deviations or variability. In other words, the samples are the same, like all girls, all boys, okay? Then your mean will be closer to the population mean, meaning that the samples will represent the population more, all right? So level of confidence, how we are to estimate will truly hold through the whole population. Your level of confidence from your samples, it will hold true for the population, all right? So these are the type of sampling errors. They will not ask things like that for you, all right? So in this raw score, the different methods of calculating Russell. Okay, so this one, yeah, many. This one we all done it before, right? Okay, so probability sampling, we have all these samplings. So these sampling methods, make sure you know the advantages and disadvantages of the sampling methods, and then they may give you a scenario, a case, like this one. Like for example, you are doing a research to know the why, to determine the factors affecting the choice of uh, delivery platform. Which one? Not delivery platform, online platform, like for example Lazada, Shopee, which online shopping platform that you will use. So it give a scenario like that, and then ask you to determine what is the best probability, what is the best sampling methods. Then you must, if you choose this, you must explain why you use this. Is that clear? So why you use this, it comes from the advantage and disadvantages of the It comes from the advantages and disadvantages of each of the sampling methods. Why you choose particular methods? Is because of the advantages, all right, and disadvantages of other sampling methods. All right. Okay. So this is what be prepared. It may ask you questions like this. So these are random sampling. This one. All right, the techniques. Okay. So advantages are given the large sample frame, the ease of forming the sample groups. Because if you have the sampling frame, like if you have the list of students, okay, of MPI, then it is very easy for you to choose which student to ask for to collect the data, all right? And then research finding result from the application of simple random sampling, it can be generalized due to representative of this sampling techniques and little relevance of bias, okay? So you can see, if I ask MPI students, these are all MPI students, why they choose MPI, okay? So as they are all MPI students, so if I pick any of them, all right, it can be generalized, okay, to represent the students of MPI, okay? So this is what it means by when it is when you use this random sampling, there was disadvantages there. The advantages, disadvantages there, disadvantages. Is that clear? You can generalize. All right. And disadvantage of this simple random sampling, it requires a lot of potential respondents to be available beforehand. Necessity to have large sample size is not suitable for study that involve face-to-face interview, cover a large geographical area, so not suitable. And then stratify, okay, you get to know all these advantages and disadvantages of this. Stratify, okay, these are stratify. All these methods are like these are the sampling fraction calculation. Okay, so advantages, disadvantages of the systematic sampling. All right, multi-stage and then multi-stage. All these advantages and disadvantages you must know. Okay, don't take it as open book. You don't have to study. You still have to study. All right. You may not have time to look at your notes. Okay. And then known probability sampling. These are the known probability sampling. You have convenient judgment quotas. Okay. Convenient sampling is most popular. Then if you are using convenient sampling, you must take note. Cannot scientifically make generalization. Okay, so here a total of 350 were distributed in different branches. Okay, a total of 295 usable response were obtained. Yield a response rate of so much. Okay, convenient sampling was used to collect. All right. Quota sampling is a known probability sampling wherein certain groups are adequately represented in the study through the assignments of quota base. Okay, so quota sampling, you want particularly from which one? All right, then we choose how many for that one. All right, like you want specific Christian respondent, you want specific Muslim respondent, specific Buddhist respondents. All right, so there's these advantages and advantages of this quota sampling, so you must know this. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, so this one, the how we write it, due to unavailability of sampling frame. Okay, so you have to use known probability. Okay. All right, purposive or judgmental sampling. Okay, so there are different types of this purposive or judgmental sampling. Extreme cases. Okay, heterogeneous, you purposely want this heterogeneous. Who is SM today again? Xing Yun, is it? Is it Xing Yun? Let me just check. I think yes, Xing Yun, Okay. All right. And then this one is homogeneous sampling, So advantages and disadvantages of purposive sampling. Snowball, okay, from one participant introduce you to many other participants. Okay, small balling. Advantages and disadvantages. All right, to know these advantages and disadvantages is to support you while you use that particular sampling method, self-selected. All right, okay. So disadvantages of convenient sampling. So the known probability sampling, you must know what is the known probability sampling. All right. Okay, the factors affecting probability sampling. All right. So key difference between probability and known probability, please take note. So because this is open book, so the way they structure the question may be different, but in the past years, they do ask you what is the difference between probability and known probability sampling. So you must be able to show all the difference between probability and known probability sampling. Okay. And any questions with this sampling? Have you all tried and see whether you have problems with sampling or not? If given to you any of the questions, any question on this? Any question? No? Oh, so far so good. Short questions. It will be 4 questions with A, B, C, D as past year question. Remember, you look at the analysis question that I give it to you. You have like smart PLS. You have A, B, C, D, right? For one question. Is that clear? All right. So let me just show you. Okay, what we'll do, right? You give me 2 minutes, okay? We will take a break. Then I'll give you a questions to try first, am I on not on yet? Okay, so you see questions like this one, huh? This is closed book question. So I'm not sure whether, and this is a different examiner. So I'm not sure the current pairing lecturers, he will set this out of questions or not. But the questions that I gave it to you to do, right, on Smart PLS was set by him. So that is the type of question that he will set, application questions, all right? So for questions like this, all right, instead of just ask you systematic random sampling, they may give you a research situation and ask you what sampling methods to apply, okay? And then you will say you choose this, okay? Then use why, okay? Why you use the advantages to explain, all right? And then you use the disadvantages of other methods to explain. So basically, all right, if it is 30 marks, you must have at least 6 points. Basically, is 2 points. Basically, is sometimes 2 points times 4 marks, 1 point 4 marks. Sometimes 1 point is 2 marks. Okay, so this actually like answers like this is not sufficient. Is that clear? Because you don't elaborate. So you must at least 1 point and then you elaborate with 2 or 3 sentences. Okay, any questions on this? This is one of the past year's questions, and then I can also show you another one. This is the supplementary questions, and then the how come this is all supplementary questions? All right, so any more questions regarding the type of questions that you will get? Any more questions? Anything related to sampling that you would like to know? And then the test, the ebook that I give it to you, you must read on the books, to have more knowledge on this sample selections, sampling. Any more questions on this? Hello? No, Yes? So far, okay, Then up next, we'll go through the questionnaire. Okay, just get my Alright, so what is the question? Okay. Alright, so this one I will share it with you here. So this is the thing on this data analysis, okay? Alright, so this question now, okay, this one I want you all to try to do. A bank loan, right? A bank loan officers wanted to inspect the association between income and variable of the car, okay? The data are given below. Okay, income price are in this, huh? Test the effect of income on price, okay? Output given is this. Alright, then interpret the finding, okay? Research hypothesis, okay? Ask you, you give the research hypothesis, alright? You write the research hypothesis. And then you, alright? Descriptive finding, you describe all this finding. Alright, R value, P value in ANOVA table, regressions, equations, and then conclusions. Alright? Okay? Alright, these are the things that you will do for SPSS output. Huh? This is one of the past questions. Okay? That you look at it. Because this one, right, is the individual assignment, but because now it's become a, what is that? Open book analysis exam, okay? So they will give you data like this. So I will give you this data now. Okay, you try to do these questions, okay? All right? Would that be okay with you all? Hello? I think I will give it to you later, huh? As a exercise for today, huh? Then you will try to do this, okay? All right, then we'll go through next. We'll go through on Thursday, all right? Then next, we will go through questionnaire. Please join the first meeting, huh? Alright, so for questionnaire design and data collections, you must also know about interviews. Is that clear? Because interview is also part of this data collection and this questionnaire design. So questionnaire design and data collection is actually a very big topic, huh? They may just ask you about interview and then they may ask you about the scale also, alright? Because it's data collection. Alright, so the rest are they joined? Oh, okay, almost in already, huh? So this interview, okay, you must make sure that you conduct the interview and then your question that you ask, alright, will help you to collect the data that you want to do, alright? So for interview, it is actually a purposeful conversations, alright, between two or more people, alright, requiring the interviewer to establish rapport to ask concise questions. So this question that you ask, alright, must help you to collect the data that you want to collect, okay? And then to let the interviewee or respondents, alright, to respond to you, and then you have to listen carefully, and then you record, and then you get data, okay? So these are the different types of interview, okay? I share this with you because the last time we did not go into details of interviews, okay? So there are these different types of interview. One is structured interview. You use questionnaire based on a predetermined and standardized or identical sets of questions, and we refer to them as interview administered questionnaires. Okay, like your survey data, these are actually self-administered questionnaire, all right? And then semi-structured interview, researcher will have a list of themes and questions to be covered, although it varies from interview to interview, okay? So when it is semi-structured, it depends on respondents of your questions, all right? Then you may have to vary some of the question. Okay, so that's why it means, right, you may omit some question in a particular interview, giving a specific organizational context that is encountered in relation to the research topic. The order of question also varies depending on the flow of the conversation, all right? And then, on the other hand, additional questions you may require to explore your research questions or objective in a semi-structured. It depends on the respondent. So you have a set of questions there, but when the answers given by the respondents, all right, you will vary them a little bit, and then you may ask some of the questions, and you may not ask some of the questions. In this, we call it semi-structured. Okay, unstructured is really you don't have any questions that you ask to each of the respondent will be the same, okay? But you must make sure that you want to get what you want to collect, and then it depends on the respondents, okay? So this one to explore in depth a general area in which you are interested, okay? There's no predetermined list of questions, okay? The interviewee is given the opportunity to talk freely, all right, about events, behavior, and belief in relation to topics area, all right? So you can also differentiate between the types of interview relate to the nature of interactions, okay, between the researcher, okay? So interview, you can conduct one-by-one basis, all right? And then you can conduct through face-to-face, you can conduct through telephone, internet, and intranets, okay? Intranets, okay? So it depends on the type of research they are doing and what type of interview you are going to collect, okay? So exploratory, right? Normally they will require in-depth interview. All right, descriptive studies, they will use structured interview. Exploratory study, then you use semi-structured interview, all right? So this one, you just take a note, just in case they give you, say that, oh, my research is explanatory studies. What sort of interview that you should conduct, okay? So you say semi-structured interview. All right. So these are types of interview for which types of research. All right. This is the suggested way. All right. So when to use semi-structured and in-depth, 4 key aspects that you must consider. Okay. The purpose of the research. Okay. So when to use what type of interview if the question asks you, in other words, how you collect your data, all right, by using what types of interview. Then it's based on the purpose of the research, significance of established personal contacts. Okay. So do you need to do this or not? And then nature of the data collection questions. Okay, in-depth or structured question. These are most advantageous approach. Okay, to obtain data in the following circumstances. Large number of questions to be answered. Okay, where the questions are either complex or open-end. When they are ordered and logic of questioning may need to be varied. So in this situation, when your questions have to be varied, all right, you cannot use structured, right? And then length of time required and the completion of the process. Okay, how much time do you have, okay, for the interview? Okay, so for this, what are for semi-in-depth, in-depth and structured interview, right? Reliability and dependability. This one lack of standardization in semi-structured and in-depth interview. Okay, so because the question you ask varies, all right. And then form of bias, right? Interviewer bias. So when you do interview, there is this interviewer bias. The interviewer may impose on belief and frame of reference to the question they answer. So when we do interview, when we ask questions, all right, you must make sure there is this bias there. We call that interviewer bias. That is, the person who asks the question may impose his own belief on the question. And then interviewee bias may be sensitive information or questions, right? The interviewee will not answer, okay? And then participation bias, the time required for interview may result in reduction in willingness to take part, okay? So if your interview is very long, nobody wants to take part. Again, also, for your questionnaires, all right, it is very long, nobody wants to answer also. So the most is like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay, not too long, all right? And then transferability and generalizability, all right? This one based on the small samples, okay? So it depends on your samples. Whether the findings from the interviewee, all right, is transferable and is generalizable, right? So this is based on your sample size, all right? So to prepare for this semi-structured or in-depth interview, all right, you must have a certain knowledge of your topic, and then you must develop your interviewee team, all right, and then supply information to the interviewee before these are actually general guides as an interview. What are the into interviews, what are the things that you must know, okay? So questions, this one we covered before, also open questions, prompting questions, open questions, okay? These are open questions. And then questions that you prompt people, okay, to seek explanation when you do not understand the interviewee meaning, all right? And then specific questions or cross questions are just about to obtain information, all right, to confirm facts or opinion, all right? So other things that you need to consider is dealing with difficult participant, all right? And then your time, your logistics, okay? And then obtaining participant permission for interview, you must obtain permission, okay? So other forms of interview, we have group interview, we have focus interview. Focus is on a defined topics, okay? And then you can go through telephone also. And then this one, internet mediated interview, this one email, internet messaging or web conferencing, like Zoom like that now is web conference. web conferencing. Okay, so this one I will later email. I will post in the group, just to help you all to know more about interviews. Okay, to ask questions on that. All right. So any more question on the questioning part? Another one is I hope you all are doing your revisions, all right? So in your PowerPoint slides, it is this chapter 8 that you must study, okay? Questionnaire design, keyword plan, all right? Okay, so what exploratory standardized, all right? So if your questionnaires, it must enable you to collect the data that you want. Is that clear? Complete information, easy for the respondent to sign, to respond, all right, questionnaires, all right? It's part of the survey methods, okay? Use it is suitable to use in standardized questionnaire that be interpreted same way by all respondents. So self-complete. All right, experiment, survey, case study, grounded theory, research techniques, interviewer complete questionnaires. All right, you can have self-complete questionnaires. All right. All right, you have to decide what data to collect. A good questionnaire, you must have all this, okay. Careful design individual questions, pilot testing. Target your population, you have to define your population, language, all right. Decide what to ask, okay. So you must have questions on your DV and questions on your IV, all right. Okay, cross-ended, open-ended, just now also we go through. Wordings of individual question, use simple, avoid negative. All right, no double barrel questions. No double barrel questions, okay? Meaning that one question, you just ask one thing, don't ask two things, okay? This one, I think you bear in mind, because they ask you about questionnaire design, so take note of this, how should you prepare your questionnaires, all right? It's use short, simple sentences, okay? One piece of information at the time. Don't put two things that inside into your statement, avoid leading questions, avoid hypothetical questions, all this, okay? Don't overtax the respondent's memory. Avoid sensitive issue, So this one, take note, How do you design your questionnaires, okay? These are things that we need to pay attention to. All right, sequence of questions, okay? Length of questionnaires, ease of recording, okay? Questionnaires, you should design. It is easy to carry, visible in different lights, No confusion or mistake when placing a tick on the actual response of given questions. Okay, coding, analysis, all right. Physical appearance, cover letter, you must have a cover letter, Instruction, what to do. Concluding, open-ended, pre-testing. Okay, so once you have your questionnaires, all right, if it is developed by yourself, all right, you actually will have to do a pre-testing, okay? Pre-testing, what is the purpose of pre-testing? Okay, sometimes question may ask you, what is the purpose of pre-testing, okay? So make sure that the wording of the questions are correct. the question placed in right sequences. These are understood by all classes of respondents. Additional questions are needed or not, whether instruction to interview are clear or not. So you do your pre-testing, right? The person pre-testing normally we give it to the expert in your area to do it. So they will give you comments. So you make and improve your questionnaires from there, all right? Okay. So the questions, all right, the questionnaires, okay, you must have this content validity and then empirical validity, criterion validity, meaning that your questionnaire must measure what is supposed to measure, okay? So these are the different types of validity, huh? Basically, validity meaning that the question that you design must measure what is intended to measure. So we have different validity, all right? So content validity, does the measure adequately measure the concept? Okay? All right? And then phase validity, meaning do experts validate the instrument? Huh? Did you pass your instrument, all right, to the experts to look at it? Okay? Does the measure differentiate in a manner that helps to predict a criterion variance? Okay? Concurrence variance, measure differentiate that helps to predict a criterion variable concurrently. Predictive validity, huh? Differentiate individual helps to predict a future. Okay, so construct, does the measure tap the concept as theorized? As theorized. This one theories. So this one must be, this one you must know, huh? Construct validity, meaning that the instrument, all right, measure the concept, huh, that it wants to be measured. Okay. Convergent, all right, measure the concept correlated highly, okay? So meaning that the items in the variable, right, they measure the same thing. And then discriminant validity, does the measure has a low correlation with a variable that is supposed to be unrelated to these variables, okay? The two variables they might not be the same, okay? They must be more or less measure the same variables, all right? Discriminant validity. So goodness of measure, all right? Reliability, you must know what is reliability. The question is it must be reliable, it must be stabilized, meaning consistently measure what is supposed to measure, consistent. Internal consistency, we use this Probach alpha, okay? Both smart PLS and SPSS, we use this. So construct validity, all right? Content internal validity, external validity, designs of fieldwork, okay? Data collection plan, how do you want to collect your data, okay? Clear overview need to be carried out. Fieldwork plan, okay? Who will do the fieldwork? When should the fieldwork start? How long should it be carried out, okay? So you have the supervisor, the field workers, okay? But we cannot find the field workers, very difficult. Who wants to go and collect data for you? Anybody wants to collect data for me or not? Hello? Any of you want to help me or not? Okay, so this is the how you collect your data, all right? So if you are using field workers, okay, you have to brief them how you're going to collect data, all right? Then any difficulties that they may face, all right? So the questions, all right, you can adopt the questions, you can adapt the question, you can develop your own questions, okay? But of course, when you develop your own questionnaires, right, it needs more validity, okay? You have to make sure that your questions is valid, All right, these are open-end question list or this, okay, category, ranking, okay, rating, quantity, okay, designing the question, consistent, you can use Google Form. Order and flow, easy to understand, all right? And then also you must have a cover letter. So even in Google Form, you must have this cover letter. How do you do your cover letter? The first page is the instruction. You type it there. Is that clear? All right. Okay. So adopting existing question. You check copyright. That's why you must cite, If you are adopting, or adapt, you must cite people, All right. Put it down. Okay, maybe in your questionnaire you don't need put it down, but in your write-up you must cite, Okay, so Cropatch alpha, it must be more than 7, Okay, so these are cover letter. Alright. Okay. So any questions with this questionnaire design and data collections? Any question that you need to know? You want to know more? Hello? Any questions? No? Alright, I hope you all are doing your work. Okay, prepare these 2 chapters well. So later I will post in the group, the question just now I shared to you on SPSS interpretation or SPSS data. You try to do that, and then Thursday we will go through that. Alright, and I might just give you some questions on questionnaire and samples again to do. So Thursday we will go through all of that. Okay. With that, we will finish the whole revision for BB 204. And then if there is any new info from the pairing lecturers, okay, so I will call you back again on the study week next week. We may have some section to do the last minute revision, or else Thursday I will go through the questions that I gave it to you later to do. Okay. All right. Any more questions? All of you have already given me the CM ID. I hope you add on to the classes already, All right. Any more other questions that you want to ask? Question time. Any question? So Sing In disappear again. Any other questions? Anybody? Any part you don't understand? Anything? No? Anything or not? If there is no questions from all of you, then we will just finish for today. I will post the questions to you now. All right. Any question? No. Okay. Bye bye. Nobody want to say bye bye, and nobody want to ask question also. No questions, Okay. Anybody want to ask any? Yeah, welcome to ask any question if you want to. Okay. All right. No, no. I'll give you the chapters that I went through just now. Make sure you study yourself. Okay. Everything is there. All right. I've emphasized to you what you need to know. Okay. 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 Bye. Bye. Bye.